Other things that happened this week. I keep getting catfished by bots. Like I don't know what it is. It feels like I've been.
What do you mean
It feels
keep
like
getting catfish? That implies it has been more than once.
Hey, moshimoshi, minasan. Okay.
Right. Welcome everybody to episode 10 of Shitposting with the Lads. My name is Michael and I'm joined as always by Skylar and Tiger.
What's up?
So
that was in sync. I like that.
let's start with what happened this last week. Skylar, go first, I guess. Anything interesting?
I broke my vow. I reinstalled Overwatch. I know, flame me for it, but yeah, I ended up so what originally made me like want to uninstall was, well, I mean, this has happened before. This is like the 7th time or whatever I've done this, but it's basically like I had like a really tilting match, and I'm just like, fuck this game. I don't want to play it anymore. But then after a while, you come back and I'll legitimately have fun with it. So I come back with it, and I played with some of the boys last night, and it was really fun. Maybe we could transition to talking about like a broader discussion of like addiction and stuff, because we're not really addicted to like substances, but I feel like this is like something that could be categorized under addiction, because I put a lot of time into it, and it's like it's not to the point where it like impedes my work, but it's like definitely taking away from other things that I'd like to do, and so I'll need to kind of figure something out in regards to that, because it seems like cutting it out doesn't work, and just like obviously full scale indulging in it is also not good. So I need to find some sort of happy medium, and I need to find some way to be consistent about it. Other things that happened this week. I keep getting catfished by bots. Like I don't know what it is. It feels like I've been.
What do you mean
it feels
keep
like
getting catfish? That implies it has been more than once.
Yeah, it happened twice.
This is like the twice in 1 week already.
How do you get catfish twice? By bots?
I don't know. Maybe like one of the social medias has flagged me as like, okay, this is a lonely guy. We're gonna send bots at him to try and get his info and get his money and stuff. And like, yeah, it's just kind of it's like amusing in the moment, and I always play along because I'm always curious how these like kind of bots are calibrated, and like if they respond to things and stuff. But I don't know, it just makes me kind of sad, because it's like, wow, the most female attention I get is literally artificial. Feels bad, man.
I mean, they're not even artificial females. They're just artificial bots that are pretending that they're female.
It's not even. Yeah, you're right. It's not even female. That's right. It's not even female. Thank you, Tiger. That makes me feel even better.
Just say it.
Literally, just sweaty old man with a program trying to steal my credit card information, and I'm like, no.
Probably not sweaty old man. Probably some Indian guy or something like that.
Whoa.
I don't know, maybe.
Or like Russian government intelligence or something.
Anything else you want to share about this week?
No, I think that's all that kind of comes to mind at this point.
Sure. I mean, I think we should talk about the addiction thing. I think that's pretty interesting. Like, we're not addicted to substances, but we've all, played a lot of games.
We have our vices. Yes, we can talk about our vices.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah, sure.
Me,
I mean, we can talk about it. Let's wrap up. Okay,
yeah.
Just go.
We're doing updates
for
first.
Me, it's pretty uneventful week. I just it's just school, homework, and then that's pretty much it. And then other stuff, but there's nothing to talk about, I suppose. All right.
For me, I think like the biggest event for this week is I basically decided to wrap up my game project for the summer, because like school is coming up, so I decided with my group mates that we were about at a point where we could release a game that has a lot of content already, and there's like more stuff that I wanted to add, but in the end we didn't really have time to add all of that, so I felt like it was a good stopping point, and then I'm going to be releasing like the full game on itch.io within the next couple days, probably Monday or Tuesday.
That's pretty pog.
Nice,
And
dude.
yeah, I may
We'll
come back
probably
and
give it a
revisit
shot.
it, but yeah.
All right.
Okay, so do you guys want to talk about? And the other thing that happened was I started playing Minecraft again with some guys, some of the seeding
That happened.
guys.
Yes, that happened this morning. Or
Yeah.
like
That was
yesterday.
like last night.
Yeah, but we were up until 4 a.m. Or I was up until 4 a.m. playing some Minecraft.
Holy shit, that late? What the fuck? Oh, so
So it's pretty
I
fucking
got my
fun.
brother's account. So I
hell
could
yeah.
play with you guys now.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude,
Alright.
actually yeah. Anyways.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I was gonna say that he just started playing TFT, but that's not really related to any of this, so it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
So I mean, we can start a broader topic on like kind of addiction, because I mean, I think right now Skylar is probably the one who is like it's most relevant for, because I don't think me and Tiger are really playing a game like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so I try to kind of like dissect what I think is happening, and it's like I have the urge to not do what I'm supposed to do, or like things that can be categorized as productive, and so I want to do something else, and it just kind of happens that something else is this game, and I think it's because it's easy, right? Like I just sit there and I click buttons and do whatever, and like, I mean, the game designers know this, right? Like, it's the feedback loop of dopamine hits or whatever, and it doesn't need me to think too hard. Like, I for a while I was like, you know what? Every time I want to play the game, instead, why don't I just pick up a book that I told myself I would read, and I read a little bit of that, and I did that for a little bit, and then I kind of stopped. And so, like, I need to figure out some other way to engage myself with like, if I don't want to work, then sure. Like my general philosophy is like, whatever you're doing, just like commit to it. Like if you're gonna be like, all right, this next hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I'm not gonna work. Don't fucking work. You actually like take time off then. But then when you do decide, all right, I'm gonna work, then actually work. But it's hard for me to kind of commit to either of those. So I need to find something that like I can throw myself into, but doesn't take up like as much time, because I put in so much time into this game that it's I don't know, it's like I'm having fun, but I'm also like it kind of eats at the back of my head, like, okay, there's literally so much time that has been sunk into this for not for really nothing. But yeah,
You should just like uninstall it and then like uninstall bio.net and then just like swear to yourself to not download it.
I mean,
Like it gets easier every like day that you don't play it. I say that because I've tried that a bunch of times and it actually works.
Well, like I said, like I mean, I've done this multiple times already, and I don't think that's gonna work.
But like, why
also,
do you think you keep re-downloading the game?
Well, I mean, like then I'd have to like go through all my YouTube subscriptions and like basically remove anything Overwatch related. I have to like.
I mean, you can do that. That's
I
not that
could,
hard.
yeah, I could if I was really dedicated to this, and this was like destroying my life or whatever, right? Like then I would do that, but I don't think I'm at that point. And a part of me feels like if I do that, something else would just kind of fill its spot. You know what I mean? Like I just latch onto some other game.
Well, okay.
some
I mean,
other,
like, I'll comment a little bit on the on like I also have the thing where like sometimes I'll just like feel like I don't want to be doing work right now, and so instead I'll just go on YouTube or whatever and just like watch some videos, and then that's like how
I do that too.
Yeah, but like it to an extent.
YouTube is.
Oh, okay. I mean, go ahead.
I was gonna say YouTube is far less addicting than like Overwatch or like another game. Usually, I don't know about you, but like I can spend like maybe an hour or 2 hours on YouTube, and then I'll like run out of stuff to watch. And you can't really do that. Like you can just keep playing if it's Overwatch or Valorant.
I can't like
it's on
spend an
YouTube.
entire
I can
day.
be on YouTube forever, dude.
Yeah.
It takes like a lot for me to quote unquote like burn off on YouTube. Like I'll watch like anime content. I'll watch anime clips, and then like sometimes it gets so bad, I'll like rewatch videos I've seen before, and it's like,
damn, really?
I know what is in it, but it's literally like that's why I think it's like I'm trying to not do whatever the hell I'm supposed to be doing, and like it's so yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. And I mean, like, that's the throwback to episode 9 when I consider myself very lazy. Like, this is one of the things that you guys don't see, but like I'm personally very aware of, that I waste a lot of time.
Well, to be fair, I think like everyone, or not everyone, but a lot of people probably think they waste more time than like other people because like
No,
maybe,
yeah, I think just I was gonna say just by like looking at what you've done, you probably waste a lot less time than other people.
yeah.
But
I know,
you
but
can
it's
still
like-
improve on.
Yeah,
wasting
obviously you
less
can
time.
still improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it's not very useful to compare to myself to people worse than me. It's like, okay,
That's
yeah,
true. That's true.
fair.
it's like so right, like and then like you hear about like
that is very true.
hyper productive people that are like just absolute units, right? And I'm not saying I want to be like that, but it's just like because because I'm not sure like they actually enjoy their lives. Like, I mean, I hope they do and all that.
sure
But
they
like,
do.
I'm not sure I would. Like, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd simply be capable of like I don't have the willpower points to be able to do all that.
Didn't spec high enough.
Well,
into
I don't know.
willpower.
Maybe I'll work up to it. Yeah, like that's maybe in the future potentially, or like maybe just through sheer stress and whatever. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that because like I think part of what's driving it is stress. But then if you have no stress, like I don't know about you guys, but if I have vacations that are longer than like 2 or 3 weeks, I start to get really uncomfortable. Like just something in my psyche is like feels off. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, even
I
during
think the
my
best way I can describe is
vacations-
like the back of my brain feels like a little itchy, and it's like, yeah. And I usually feel this way about a month into like summer vacation or whatever. And I'm like, if I'm not doing anything, I'm like, this is uncomfortable. I don't like this. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, but
I
I
have
mean,
no idea. I haven't had a vacation in a very long time.
well, okay. I mean, like, but for me, like, when I'm on vacation, I tend to like you try to use that time to do something that I find is productive, and that's mostly like my categorization of productive. So like, I'm like making a game this summer, but I'm also like learning how to draw and stuff like that, and I find that stuff like productive to me. So like, it makes me feel less bad about like quote unquote not really accomplishing much this summer. Like I didn't make money or anything. I didn't like do any jobs or really anything, but like I felt that my summer was productive because I was able to do a lot of stuff that I set out to accomplish, right?
I agree with that. Yeah, and that's another thing that I sort of am trying is like just trying more new things, right? Like getting into singing. I started like going to this Japanese language table, which is basically like it's so funny actually because it's like so they have Japanese speakers, and they basically be like trial by fire. They just throw you in and you have to try and survive basically. And I'm sitting there on my ass with Discord, like listening to them. I'm understanding like every third word. I have Google Translate like on like one of my monitors, and I'm just like trying to talk to people. And it's legitimately been like helping me learn the language in a very non-rigorous, I wouldn't say non-academic, but it's a very, I would say, unconventional way to learn the language.
I mean, I wouldn't say unconventional because like a lot of people will try to learn the language basically by like trying to do it, which is like actually an effective way to do it because like then you're forcing yourself to be put in situations where you like okay.
And also for me, I think it's uniquely effective because I have this kind of anime background and I've already been exposed to so much Japanese. Like I feel like a part of it has sunk into my consciousness, which is kind of weird to say, but also makes perfect sense, right? It's like I've been like, even if I'm not consciously understanding it, like I've heard these types of sounds so many times that I feel like my pronunciation is probably better than like
I think my
person who hasn't,
pronunciation is like better than most people. But...
yeah, like
Guys,
a person
I think
who
you have to ask a Japanese
taking-
person to tell you that.
Well,
I mean,
okay.
I have, I have.
Oh, okay.
And
All right.
I've literally asked them,
Okay.
I'm like, and they're like, well, I'll be like, am I saying this right? And they're like, yeah, well, I don't know if they're saying that
Well, I mean,
just because they
Japanese
know I'm
people are
not
generally
native
polite
or
about
whatever.
that kind of stuff anyway, so you
Yeah.
never know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Did I send you guys
I-
that video where it was like how you know you're actually good at Japanese or something?
No.
Yeah, you did.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, you
maybe
did.
if you did, I didn't watch.
Okay.
Somehow.
It was basically like when you like talk in Japanese, like if the other guy responds with like, wow, you're so good at Japanese, it means that you're like not actually good. And then like if they respond with, how long have you been living in Japan? You're actually good.
That's kind of funny. That's pretty funny.
I wonder if like we moved to Japan, like could we pass as Japanese? Like would they question it?
No,
I mean, like it'd be very different if we were like white or like black, right? And like and they could just see visually, oh, he's not Japanese, but like, well, because I asked because in my internship in
They
Japan,
can see your name and stuff, right?
well,
Yeah,
they didn't
yeah,
know that.
but,
They
like,
just
I
visually, they just looked at me and they just kind of assumed I was Japanese, and I thought that was kind of interesting because I never really thought of myself as looking Japanese, but you know, I clearly look Asian, so maybe that's enough for them. But yeah, I have no idea. I think it. Well, maybe they're being polite. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? To be honest, but I mean, like,
I don't.
we
I don't know
probably
the
wouldn't
physique
receive
of a
'cause,
Japanese
like,
person,
I mean,
though.
just like the foreigner treatment, kind of like where because you look white or whatever, then people will treat you a certain way. But I feel like it might be just like not obvious enough to the point where that would be the case. But like in maybe like company or whatever settings, it might be a little different because like they'll know you a little bit more, and then you could get ostracized for not being like Japanese in that sense, if you know what I mean.
I feel like the strategy there is just to be like Genki enough and push through everything, because like they're very socially conscious people, and like if you just play the energetic American foreigner card, I feel like they'll kind of let it be easier, you know. I've been doing that more actually, because I've been like some clubs, and I don't consider myself a social person. I don't consider myself a like extrovert, but like I'm the one pushing through. Like recently, one of my clubs, they're doing this like new member mentors old member type thing, and it was like a group of like 5 or 6 people, and it was like they gave us a list of icebreakers and stuff, and it was just like it felt like in lecture, right, in class when like professor's calling in and he's trying to get a discussion going, and like the kids are just like nah, this is not happening kind of thing, and I'm like trying to but like that's not my role usually. I don't think of myself that way, but it's just I guess I have that skill set that either people are unwilling or unable to do. I don't know, but
I think
like
it's more unwilling.
maybe I don't know, because it's just like it's so annoying to me, because it's like, well, the objective of this meeting is to accomplish this. Why not just do that and like dispense with it? Whatever. This is a tangent that.
Well, okay, so getting back to the
anywhere, I don't think.
original topic of like motivation and stuff. So like one of the things that I actually found to be like kind of helpful, I guess. So I talked a little bit about, like I mentioned earlier, that I like watch YouTube when I like don't really feel productive, but like a lot of the time what I've tried to do is like try to make that time on YouTube where I'm like enjoying myself or whatever, or like, you know, taking time off doing work to be like somewhat productive. Like obviously it's not going to be as productive as like if I'm actually doing work, but like it's also, so like, okay, I'll use like a couple examples from like the stuff that I've been normally doing. Is like okay, so like I watched like a lot of drawing videos, like speed paints, like drawing tutorials and stuff, and I view that as like normal YouTube content that I view enjoyable. And then also like you know, I've been watching a lot of VTubers, which has helped my Japanese a little bit, like just listening and that kind of stuff. So like, well, okay, yeah. I mean, obviously the main purpose of those things isn't to like get better at Japanese or to get better at drawing or whatever. The main purpose of those is like, you know, I'm like watching YouTube videos.
It's entertainment, right? With like,
yeah, but it's
2% practical benefit. Yeah,
it has a few minor benefits.
I know what you mean.
And like to that extent, I feel like that has helped me, because I feel like it's more like I'm going to be on YouTube for like an X amount of time a day, and like, you know, that's just like not going to change. Like I'm probably not going to like be more productive by just working more, because like I'll probably burn out and stuff. But being able to utilize that time on YouTube more effectively has probably helped my overall productivity, if that makes any sense. I mean, that's how I think about it, at least.
I think there's something you should try. I think, Skylar, I think you should find something else that you can think of as being productive while having it not related to academics or, you know, like career and stuff. Like something else.
I tried reading a book and stuff, and
well, I mean, like
maybe
even,
it's my choice.
It has to be something that you can enjoy.
The book I was reading is Death of Money, which is like basically like a deconstruction of financial systems and stuff. It's not
That's fine. It's
rigorously
just like I think
but
it's just like you should find something that you can think of as being productive, but it's also like very gratifying on finishing or doing. So if that's reading a book, it's fine. And then what you do is that you have a schedule to say like to say like, you know, like there's like a schedule where you have to like read to this page by the end of the week, and then stuff like that, and then you just make sure you finish that.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you make sure it's not too much of a chore, then and you can like consciously find yourself doing it, even if you're like if there's no external like benefits, then that's probably something that you want to continue doing, like in place of or like to help like fill some of that time that you feel like you don't want to be working.
I think the hardest part is like to have that month without playing Overwatch or like the game, or you know, and then after that it gets way easier. But you just have to find something that can fill your time.
Yeah,
before that
it's
happens.
like like I can't remember if I've talked about this before, but basically like I don't think I would be able to just like rip that part of my person out and then just like sit there, right? Like it's just gonna get filled by something else, or like. Yeah, or you know, maybe something worse will develop. Like that's why I remember. I remember just when I was in middle school, my friend was trying to get me into League, and I was like, "Yeah, I've seen what this does to people. I'm not even going to start." Like that's why I never started playing League.
Yeah, I think you can. The thing is, like that part of you could be filled by like if it has to be a game, it could easily just be like a very casual and then like single player game or something that you know you might play once every 2 weeks, maybe.
I mean, or like, well, okay, so like a game that I've been playing like a decent amount recently, it's on a regular schedule, is like chess. I don't actually like play that many chess games, but like I'll do a couple chess puzzles like every day now, and I find that like pretty enjoyable. I spend like 20 minutes doing like a few chess puzzles a day, and it's like just a regular schedule thing. But that's like a game, because like I also had a point in my life, like 4 or 5 years ago now, where I was like playing like so much fucking League that like, it was like I wasn't really doing much else other than like going to school and playing League, basically.
I know, dude. It feels horrible. It feels horrible.
Yeah, so I think you should really just try that. Like, just uninstall for a month, and then you have to like stick to that. Like I don't think it's that hard to not play Overwatch for a month. Yeah. Like I think you can definitely do it if you actually like care about doing that. That's my point. Like if you can't do it, it's because you don't actually care about not playing it for a month.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's part of the thing, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, when you say in the moment, "Fuck this game, never playing this again," like you don't actually,
right?
You don't actually want that.
But you can't just like be like when you're tilted, believe that you shouldn't like continue playing this game, but it should be like like in the moment of clarity you should be like, yeah, this game is like not good for me. Like there's so many games out there that you can just play like, casually though, so it's not like you have to quit gaming. It just shouldn't be a game that's like super addicting.
Right. So the other thing I think is that I should lower my threshold for like stopping the game, right? Because like sometimes I have a bad match, and then I'd be like, oh, maybe the next one will be better, and I just keep playing, right? And I should develop the mindset like, oh, that's enough. Like like when you're eating, it's just like, oh, I'm full. That's good. Like, I'll stop eating, instead of like just keep shoveling this shit down your mouth because it's put in front of you.
With me, right? Because I played,
which is that's also like that gluttonous part of my personality, right? Because I am also like
TFT thing. Like
that's exactly like what TFT is, and also like Civ. If you like one more turn and then one more turn, and then until it's like until you've played for like 20 hours straight.
Oh my god!
But there's a lot of games out there that you can just play very casually,
Yeah, I mean, maybe narrative games, because I tried replaying Katana Zero and I never sit through the whole thing. I'll do like bits and pieces. I'll do a few chapters at a time, but and
Yeah,
maybe
I mean-
like an hour and a half tops.
I
But
think
I'll
you
never
should-
I'll never go like fucking 5-6 hours straight Overwatch like I do with. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should
Overwatch
find a
level.
game that's like very casual, that's not very immersive, and that's like honestly just not that good, to be honest. It's just
Well, I
like,
mean,
that's like
I
that.
would say even
I
like,
think
chess is a
narrative
very good
games are
example
gonna
of
be
that.
like.
like
yeah, or
not
even
not
just
saying that chess
single-player
isn't a good
games.
game. It's just like yeah. It's like the thing is like chess is it's not like that immersive. Like generally speaking, you're not gonna play like 10 hours of chess, especially if you're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
getting into it now. You know.
I would also say like games that, well, at least personally, my experience is like single player games. I tend to not be able to play for like 5-6 hours at a time. Like Skylar said, like when I'm playing games like Fire Emblem, I'll generally just play for like 3 hours or, tops like 5 hours or whatever. But I won't just sit there and grind for like an entire day at it. I'll just like
Wow.
do like a couple chapters and then be like, okay, that was fun, and so let's get back to work or whatever.
Oh, you haven't played EU4. Dude, EU4 is literally like I start a save, and then I'll play only this thing for the next like 3 days.
Yo, guys, I gotta go to the bathroom. Be right back.
Sure.
Keep going. Keep going.
But yeah, I think yeah for him is just he should really just try to like there was a period over the summer where I was playing Valorant. I think it was maybe like 3 to 4 weeks. I was playing Valorant pretty much every day. Like that's pretty much all I did, and then like I took breaks during the day to do like some singing. That's it. I was singing for an hour and then playing Valorant for the next like 10 hours. And that's like the day.
I mean,
Yeah, and then
mean,
eventually
we-
I was just like, I can't do this, so I have to. So I just uninstalled it, and then I just never looked back. So I think
Yeah,
it
so,
definitely
I mean,
works.
I think like you are like probably like an anomaly in the sense that like when you recognize that there is like an issue, I guess, then you're like very quick to like eradicate the roots of the issue. But like I feel like for most people it's pretty hard to like let go of.
I mean, I think I know it's hard because like I was never able to like quit League. Like the only reason I stopped playing League is because I stopped having fun playing League. So I never had to do that for League, and which is why I spent like thousands of hours playing League, and
Yeah,
it's
I
still
mean,
a game I
same,
suck at.
basically.
So like, but like I think since League I've kind of learned to to like be able to just like stop playing games. You know, like just like first of all, I got a new computer. I haven't installed like EU4 and shit, right? And then I was able to quit Valorant over the summer. I think that was it's definitely doable. I don't think it's actually as hard as people thought like things. It gets a lot easier the longer it goes for.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I never really. I have never really
I almost
quit
missed
a game.
sitting in my chair and almost fucking fell over. Sorry, what were you guys talking about?
I have never really
I
like
was saying-
quit a game like because like I would consciously recognize that it was like an issue and then like stop playing. Like League and like TFT, I spent a lot of time playing, but like those games just like stopped being very fun for me, so that's why I stopped.
That's the
which
same
is, like,
for League and TFT. For me, for Valorant, it was definitely like after a game, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna uninstall, and then I just never reinstalled it. And then like in the first like few weeks, it's hard because you're like, I really want to play it, but then the longer it goes for, the easier. And now I basically just hate Valorant now.
I had the same thing for Valorant, but I never had to like convince myself not to play. Like I played a few rounds, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really feeling this. And then I uninstalled it.
That's fine. But
a
what
game
I'm saying is
that I
really
did
like
kind of
Valorant.
burn out on was Titanfall 2. So you guys actually remember when I played Titanfall 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Titanfall 2 was like my pre-Overwatch game where it's just like I played it all the time. And then after like I should go and check one day and basically see how many hours I have on it. Basically I was like I just naturally didn't feel the urge to play it anymore, and I never did. Maybe because Overwatch
I mean, did
took
you
that
stop
spot.
finding it fun or like?
Yeah, or like it kind of felt like the matches were like just permutations of the same thing over and over and over again, and
Yeah.
it wasn't different enough that I wanted to keep playing. Same with Warframe actually. but Warframe is kind of worse because Warframe is like a loot-based game, so it's like it's super grindy, and it's free to play. So like the ecosystem is calibrated to try to incentivize you to spend money, but we all know I'm stingy as hell, so I don't like doing that.
That's actually like a similar reason I stopped playing WoW, because like it was so grindy. I felt like it was taking up a bunch of time that I felt like I was not really like gaining anything from. I didn't really have that much fun with, so I just stopped playing. So
I hit that WoW
same.
wall like way earlier too, though, because like the first 20 levels are free, right? Like, and then you do the monthly
the
thing.
first 20 levels are so fucking boring in like modern WoW.
Yeah, well, okay, like
I
WoW
know.
was
Well,
really fun.
okay, I don't know about mod, but like when I played it, I was basically like, this is so boring. I literally like one of the I remember distinctly one of the quests was like, go stand on a hill and keep killing this type of enemy and like 20 of them.
It's not,
and I'm like,
it's a
holy
game
shit.
that was designed to be. If you play the classic WoW, it makes those quests and all of those like game design decisions make sense in that environment. But the a lot of assumptions that people made back then aren't true anymore. And they also changed how the core game works, so that none of those things like would be true, because it's just not how the game works. So it's just like it feels really weird, because you're kind of just like like you're saying, you're sitting on a hill and then you're like 2-shotting, 3-shotting mobs, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, this is so.
Yeah,
well,
like
WoW was
and I didn't get any meaningful gear that like made me feel like a badass, right? Like I mean, there's a beginner level,
like maxed.
I know, but like they're supposed to.
Yeah, I know.
They're supposed to give you something to kind of hook onto and stuff, and make you feel a sense of accomplishment whenever you got gear. Because I kept like the same sword from like level 15 to like 20, so I was like,
I think I think the most recent expansion they revamped the starter experience, but I think we have to ask Alex to make sure, because I'm not really following that much. Yeah. But I think they squished down the levels to 60, but I could be wrong.
Oh, really?
It's like yeah.
Well, okay, so part of it for me is like. Actually, something pretty interesting is that like some of the games I felt that for specifically I'll say League and WoW, I played much longer than I felt that I was having fun in, if that makes sense. Because like the reason for that is because there were other people around me who were playing the game. And
no, that's 100% a thing. Like playing with friends makes it infinitely more fun.
And also harder to stop, I feel like, for me.
Dude, if I stop playing Overwatch, I can't play Overwatch with the boys anymore.
Which is another reason why I'll never play Overwatch, because I know if I start playing it, I'm going to keep playing it. Because a lot of people around me plays it. So.
I mean, it's hard for me to imagine, because you seem like such a mature, kind of chill dude, that it's hard for me to imagine you getting addicted to anything. You just be like,
I told you, I was addicted to Valorant like 4 months back. Or 3 months back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
During the closed beta. I think that was like 3 months back.
Want to relapse with me?
Yeah, like 3 months back.
No, I fucking hate that. Now that I see it and I just tilt, I'm just like, fuck this game.
He's been
like, sometimes my brother still plays it, then I'll be like, what the fuck, you're playing Valorant? It's such a shitty game. And then he's like, well, it's actually kind of fun. I'm like, no, it's just a fucking shitty game.
Well, I mean, like, also because like when TFT came out, like Tiger was grinding TFT, like.
I played so much TFT, but that was like a year ago now.
Yeah.
TFT is Team Fortress 2,
we can look back on it now, but
dude, like, I know the numbers. I don't even want to look at it. It's over 1,000 hours over like 3 months.
Yeah, like
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I was also playing a lot, but I was not playing as much as Tiger, and like, I mean,
to be fair, I kind of achieved my goal. It's the first game I was like even decent at, and I was like, okay, I got challenger for a while. Right? Like I was challenger for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I think I peaked at top 200, good. And then I was like, fuck it.
I mean, top 200 in a game that like a lot of people were playing at the time, it's pretty fucking good, right? But like,
it's pretty good, yeah. And then, but it got so toxic in the sense that like if I played poorly or had bad RNG, like it would ruin my mood, because LP is so hard to come back to come by.
That's high kind up. Of like. How I felt about it. And I wasn't even as high as you were.
So I just stopped playing. Yeah. So I just stopped playing. Because it's just too toxic too. Because like for me, if I play TFT, I'm gonna want to be competitive, but being competitive also means I'm playing, just insane hours while not even having that much fun. And then if I don't play competitive, then it's just not that fun. So I'm
Yeah,
just not gonna play it.
I
And
agree.
that's what happened. So for TFT, I didn't have to quit. I kind of just like stopped having fun playing it, and it's the same thing as League and WoW. But for games
My
that
main
actively
issue
quit,
with
there's
TFT
EU4
was-
and there's Valorant. Yeah.
Well, okay, my main issue with like TFT wasn't like what was like the changes happen so fast that like it doesn't feel like the game is like ever in a steady place.
Yeah. You have to learn the new meta like every week.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
fucking annoying. But yeah,
Yeah,
anyway,
um,
not really the point. Okay, anything you
anyways.
guys want to say to wrap up this addiction topic?
I think Skylar should try again. I think it's worth it in the long run to do that. You know.
No, I mean, I just think I mean, like other things, I just think I need to get it in moderation. Right? Like,
Yeah, I
need to
mean,
get it
I
under
personally
control.
feel like
But
it's
my
I'm playing,
point
like,
is
2
that
hours a
I
day
don't
with the
think
boys.
it's like possible.
it's
I don't
fine.
think that's possible with games like Overwatch and League and WoW. Like you can't play it in moderation. Like for a
think
long
WoW
time,
is a
I
little
thought it was
different, but-
possible. I think I think WoW is possible if you just log on and do your dailies and shit.
Yeah, I mean the main
But I
issue
think for
with WoW
games
is
like-
because you're paying for it, you probably feel like a lot more pressure to actually be playing.
Yeah, but I think for most people playing it, I mean, $15 a month is not. It's not it's fine. Anyways, but I think for games like Overwatch, League, like TF, like stuff that you have a ladder and then you're trying to climb, and then you have that like just one more game mentality. I think those games it's very difficult to play in moderation.
Well,
Or
okay.
I make a rule for myself that I only play with the seating boys.
Yeah.
Because they
play a
get
lot.
off. They will like get off. No, well, I play probably like 2 to 3 times more than anyone else in seating.
Really,
I don't know if that's
Yeah,
true.
so
but,
I feel like they play quite a lot. I
They
feel
do
Like
play,
sometimes,
like-
I see
sometimes
them
they
play
want to
them
get
every day.
Sometimes they're done. They want to get off, and I just keep going.
Yeah, but they also play
Oh.
before you get there too. So,
I
I think it's actually far easier to just say zero Overwatch than say a little.
I mean, okay, I
pretty
don't know.
hard
to
I think
lose,
it
probably
might
gonna
be a
be
little
more than
easier to do that, but I personally think that like it's totally fine to just keep playing a little bit. But like, I mean, to the point of Tiger, like one of the ways that you can stop is just like, okay, don't play comp, just play like quick play.
Yeah, like I don't.
and
Or
then, like,
or 500 IQ strat. I play comp, purposely tilt myself, and then I like stop playing.
well, I mean,
That's doable as well.
yeah, I mean, just like play quick play, just like limit yourself to only play with like your friends or whatever. Try not to play like the entire day or whatever, but
Dude. Okay.
like try to limit yourself a little bit and like keep it in moderation. I mean, like I think it's fine to play Overwatch as like a hobby.
No, I mean I think it's fine to play Overwatch like 30 hours, like every day if you want to.
30 hours
But I
every
think-
day.
But my point is that if you don't want to do that, it's far easier to just don't play at all than play a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's way
the
easier
reason why
for
I'm
you to-
hesitant. The reason why I'm
Sorry?
hesitant to try to do Tiger's thing is because I've tried that before many times where I straight up uninstall and I don't like. I tell myself I'm not going to touch the game or whatever, and like that works up to a certain point. Like I forget what the longest break I ever took was.
Well, like, what was the reason
probably
you,
more than a
like
month,
quote unquote relapsed? Like, was it like seating people asking you, or what?
There's a
Like,
little
what
bit
was
of
the
that.
reason
I
you
mean,
re-downloaded
they
it?
didn't ask me, but I enjoyed playing with them. So like, there's that going in my head, and then also like I'll watch YouTube videos about it and stuff, and I'll see like high level gameplay and stuff, and I'm like, ah man, that looks fun. Like, and then like I'll spend so much time like, watching like keeping up with the meta, looking at the balance patch, bro, and like high level gameplay and like content creators.
Well,
that
but
like
why were you looking at those after you uninstalled Overwatch?
because I still enjoy the game, right? Like I said, I can't
Right.
just rip that stuff out of my life. But
Well,
then
you definitely can. You haven't.
No,
you
I can't.
haven't really tried it.
Let's just dispense with that. Let's just dispense with that. Let's say I can't because I don't think it's a practical.
I mean, okay, try
to
this.
take to
Try this, right? So tell
But I'm also
everyone
not
seating,
trying to.
including us.
But I'm also not trying to. Let me finish. I'm also not
Okay.
not trying to. What I want to go for is like actually being in control. But also, side note, I just pulled up my Origin thing. I have 928 hours in Titanfall 2.
Apex? Oh, Titanfall.
Okay, I mean those are
Which is-
fucking-
That's,
Rookie
that's
numbers
like,
compared
that's
to
like
my
not
Pokemon
yeah
numbers.
rookie numbers exactly. Pretty rookie numbers.
It's so much. I have like what 500 hours in Overwatch, of which like 400 are in Genji, but like.
I mean, to be honest, that's
Those are like not. Those
much,
numbers
like-
aren't even that bad. Yeah, those
So
numbers
I don't know.
aren't even that bad.
Maybe I'll burn out when I hit my 1,000-hour Overwatch mark.
Maybe.
Well,
maybe.
well, okay, like you have 500 hours in Overwatch and you play it like so much, but like, you know, I have like 200 something hours since Sword and Shield as like the game came out like last year, and so like, you know, there's
Shit, never mind. All right, that makes me feel better about myself.
I mean, it's not that much, but like now
500
I
hours
just
over
don't get into new games because I know the cycle is like you play a game a lot and then you get sick. You know, you get burnt out, and then a new game comes out, and then you get addicted to that, and then you're done with it. You know, for me, it was League, and then it was Hearthstone, and it was back to League a little bit, and then WoW, and then TFT, and then Valorant. But now I just don't play like new like addicting games, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
if I'm
because like
playing a new game, it's gonna be like
I saw Zach starting Terraria or whatever, and I look it up on Steam. I'm like, oh, that looks kind of fun. Like, and then I'm like,
God.
shit, no, don't
Dude,
do
I play
it, don't do
Starbound.
it.
I play Starbound. I play Starbound, and I only played it for like 4 days, and I have almost. I'm pretty sure I have like 50 hours in that game.
I think the key for me is like I'm repeating myself, but I think it's going to be narrative games because I don't really replay narrative games.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice to just okay. Like the good part about like single player games is like okay, you can play the game, have a lot of fun with it, but like there's generally like a finish point to the game where like you can feel good about it and not have to like come back. And then like
Wait, actually, I think this is an important point. What's the goal? Like, why are you trying to play less Overwatch?
Oh, because I just think like I should be doing other stuff more, right?
Like what? Like what's the other stuff that you should be doing?
Oh,
like
my
that you
academic
think you should be doing?
commitments, the multitude of projects that I have. You know, maybe instead of playing Overwatch for fucking 5 hours, maybe like talk to people or talk to girls.
Yeah,
work
so
out,
I think that's
do
the
other
key,
stuff.
right? So like all of those
Replace
things
with
that
other
you want
shit,
to do
right?
instead of Overwatch, do all of those, and if you have times left over, then play Overwatch. That's the like
Well,
you
I
can
mean-
only play Overwatch when everything else that you want to do is done. Otherwise, you
Yeah, I
can't
don't
play.
have. I straight up don't have the discipline for that. But
That's
Yeah, I mean-
like why I quit Valorant because I was like, yeah, I'm not spending enough time doing music stuff if I'm playing. You know, I'm playing like so many Valorant
Yeah.
games every day.
well,
Then I'm just like, okay, then I have to stop playing if I want to do more music.
to the extent of that, like I feel like in general I've also like moved away from playing games more and more, and like I've tried to focus on other stuff, and the games that I do play, like it tends to be like, you know, games that I play with some friends while like in call with them, only like a couple hours a day. Like I was playing Divinity earlier this summer, and then, you know, I'll probably be playing Minecraft a little bit for the next couple weeks, but
Minecraft.
those types of games, it's like I can't have fun playing those games by myself. So that's like a easy limiter for how much time I can potentially spend on them.
Yeah. For me, I just don't play them because I know if I like download Valorant, if I get TFT, I'm gonna like play a lot.
Yeah.
And like probably less than I used to, but even if I play like 1/10 of what I used to, that's still too much time. Like, you know, yeah. Anyways, it's still
Okay.
too much time.
So we can move on to the next topic. What do you guys want to talk about? We can do stress. We can do extracurriculars.
let's just go in order. Let's do
Yeah,
extracurriculars.
extracurriculars.
Okay, so
Who wants to go
the
first?
topic is what extracurriculars were you asked to do as a child, and transition that into like a larger topic about, I don't know, like how those things have like changed as we've grown older.
Okay, so the one that comes to mind for me is piano.
So
I, like so many other little Asian boys and girls, was forced to take piano lessons, and I remember hating them.
Yes.
And the reasoning my mom gave, and I'm not sure if she was being serious, but she was like, if you fail at everything else in life, then you can always just be a piano teacher. And I remember even thinking way back
What
in
the
like
fuck?
fucking second grade when my mother told me this. I was like, you're full of shit, dude. Like, there's even if I fail at everything, like,
okay,
I
this
can
is kind of a
still-
tangent, and I'll bring this up after you finish talking about the extracurriculars. Sorry.
But the reason why I bring this up and it's significant is because I started learning again in junior year at Kent, and I think you guys know this. I mean, I haven't done it recently because my table freaking broke and I don't have a good place to put my keyboard. But when it wasn't forced on me, I enjoyed it much more. And like, I feel like a lot of Asian parents are kind of shooting themselves in the foot for this type of thing. Like, I feel like for my kid, I would have them try lots of stuff, but I wouldn't make them commit to things. Like I would let them choose like from a lot of stuff. I mean, like, yeah.
Tiger can go.
I was going to say, okay, actually there's two things now because you brought up another interesting point. But the first thing I was going to say is related to when you said that your mom told you that if you fail at everything else in life, you could become a piano teacher. Now, I have a question about this actually. Do you guys agree that I think I think this definitely depends on the child. But do you guys agree that generally speaking, you should be more realistic? You should, like, when you speak to kids, you should be, like, you shouldn't be hiding the world. That's the truth. Like, you have to kind of like be
within
realistic
limits,
and then tell them kind of the truth. I feel
yeah,
like,
I mean,
I don't know.
Within limits, like.
I mean, I personally feel like
within
it might
limits,
be like if you
I
don't
think it definitely
limit
depends
their
on the kid.
yeah, but because like I feel like if you try to like be realistic, I also think like the motivation and like starry-eyedness of like kids can allow them to pursue basically anything. So like I feel like if you try to like not nip that at the bud, then it may just create like a depressed kid who like doesn't.
No, I'm not saying you shouldn't help and do that. But no, actually, I was mostly focused on the part where Skylar's mom told him that if he failed at everything else in life. And I feel like generally, like, I don't think, it's not like kids now. It's just like kids, a lot, like, I feel like in the West, at least, kids are generally shielded from stuff like that.
Oh, like, the participation trophy culture, basically?
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with participation trophies, but there's kind of like a veil that's like, I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with that. I think there's wrong if you actually believe that, if you somehow like trick the kid into thinking that it actually mattered. But I feel like most kids didn't.
Well, that's the point of the trophy, is to make them think that it matters.
Wait, when you were in school, did you get participation trophies?
No.
Okay, well, I had some, but my point is that nobody I knew. And I definitely didn't believe in like that trophy meaning anything because it's clearly like it's a fake thing, right?
I mean,
well, yeah, but I mean that's an issue with like the system itself. Also, it just means it's useless.
Anyways,
right?
I think
that's the exception to the rule. I think kids generally, when you give them an award for something, they like smile and they be like, "Oh, they're happy," and they think there's a sense of accomplishment, right? Like there's a whole movement behind like the whole self-esteem movement thing. Like,
right, so that's what I'm saying. Like this kind of depends on the kid. I feel like generally speaking, kids are like not kids nowadays because I don't want to be sounding like, well, in my generation we weren't, but because in my generation definitely was like this. It definitely was like this in the sense that I feel like more kids are kind of like they don't really know what's going on, and then you kind of like lie to them that everything is all well and shit when it's not.
Yeah. I mean, I do think they're softer. Like, I think they're too soft, actually. Like, I don't.
Well, it's not just like people in our generation. If you like look at Karens and shit, or like the modern phenomenon of Karens, it's also like that generation as well, right? It's kind of just like.
I feel like Karens have always been around, though. Those are the type of people that like.
Sure, but I guess it's just like I don't want to make this out to be a generational thing because I definitely don't think that's the case.
No, I think it's
just overly. I think. Yeah, exactly.
Even for our generation,
I think it's a general thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think people are like overly protective of kids overall. So that's the first thing. And then I actually kind of think, generally speaking, like I think for some kids it could be bad. It could backfire because it could like destroy their self-esteem. But generally speaking, you should be more honest to kids than not.
Yeah, I mean, don't lie to kids, but like also don't like
Well,
lay the horrors of the world at their
well, yeah,
feet
yeah,
when they're
yeah.
freaking 3 years old. Like I remember. Okay, so side tangent. I think I was in middle school. I want to say, and for some reason or other, I stumbled on a ISIS beheading video, and I
Fuck.
saw
What the
it.
fuck? Wait, which
And
grade?
I was in middle
Middle
school, I
school?
think.
Middle school,
And
you have like
Okay.
you first discover the internet.
Isn't ISIS like post 2014? Yeah, ISIS is post 2014.
yeah, it's like 6 years ago. That's
That's not middle school.
Yeah.
That's like
That
a
would be
year before.
first year of high
It's
school
a
or
freshman
something.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
no. I remember because I
think-
was in Hong Kong at the time.
Oh, so I remember this because in my 8th grade project we studied the Syrian
basically-
civil war, and ISIS wasn't a thing yet. Anyways, sorry.
Anyway, basically, I remember like I felt tainted at that point. I was I mean, very much I have witnessed darkness in the world type moment, and like I wouldn't necessarily think like that was the like if my parents had known, I definitely think they would have tried to shame me from that, and I think most people would be like, yeah, it's a bit much for a kid.
I think it's just a
At
bit
that
much in
point.
general.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that specific video, but I remember being very young and being told about like an execution style thing, or like in ancient China when I was like learning about history, where like the way they killed the person was like they tied their limbs to like horses, and then they like,
Oh,
they,
yeah,
like
yeah.
told the
Just rip them
horses to
open.
run in different directions.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
And then I knew that.
Wait, did you
like,
not know
maybe
about
when
this,
was, like,
Michael?
5
I
or
knew about
6.
this too, but
Like the thing
for
is, I
some
knew
reason,
that.
I
Like,
was just
when I
gonna
was
say
like
like
5 or 6.
it wasn't as graphic because when it was just spoken, I didn't have that kind of.
I
guess I kind of
definitely
imagine it like a
it right
cartoon.
now, and it's very.
I can imagine it,
gruesome.
yeah, but like as a kind of like a cartoon, but like I don't know what I saw the video, man. Like I feel like this is very that was a new like I was slightly different after that.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
okay, I wanted to touch on the other thing that you brought up, which is like basically the idea that when you force a kid to do something, that they're going to like hate it. Well, I don't know if this is universally
that's
true.
okay.
But
That's the second point that
Yeah.
I was gonna say. But yes, okay. Say what you're about to say, and then I'll
okay,
comment.
so I definitely felt that because like I think that whenever you're so okay, for me it was also piano. There are other things I was asked to do as a kid. Like I did like drawing and learn Chinese and stuff. Actually, okay, Chinese actually falls under the same umbrella to me as piano, where basically my parents were extremely adamant about me continuing to learn and like continue to study, and to the point where I just started hating it, and I was like hating it for like multiple years, and then they would still force me to do it. Basically, like for Chinese, it was like, okay, you have to learn this because it's like part of your part of your heritage or whatever. And then for piano,
yeah,
I had
that's
that
probably
too.
that's definitely a mistake. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah, sorry,
for
continue.
piano, it was like when I was like apparently this is like the story my mom tells me at least, but like apparently when I was like 5 or 6, like she asked me like, okay, do you want to learn piano? And I was like, yes. And then like she forced me to continue learning piano for like another like 6 or 7 years or whatever, or like 5 years or whatever. And like I was hating it by like year 4 or 5, and I was like, I hate this so much. I don't want to keep playing piano. And like eventually they let me stop, but
Right.
it was like far past the point of like the point where I enjoyed it, right? So like it like basically scarred my enjoyment of like piano and like Chinese and stuff. So like I can't go back and like I feel like it's very hard for me to like go back and enjoy those things anymore because it doesn't it like I just have like such a disdain for those like activities now. But like
Yeah.
other activities where like okay they didn't like force me to do it, like maybe I didn't do it for that much, but like a lot of those things I've done throughout the course of my life, like basketball. I did like a lot as a kid, but like it wasn't like my parents forced me to do that, and so like I just like naturally played basketball, and then like I continued playing basketball, and then drawing. I was like I did some drawing like as a kid, but like my parents never forced me to. They weren't ever like, okay, you have to do this every day or whatever, and like practice like they did for piano. So
Wait,
then,
is it just me, or is Michael's voice like bugging out?
Yeah, he's kind of scratchy,
Oh,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it?
but
Is it better now?
I vaguely get
Or-
what he's trying to
Oh,
say. It's like,
it's my Discord. My internet is being bad.
Like the
Yeah.
only thing I heard was that basketball you
they said
weren't
you have
forced
to
do.
something, yeah. But I'm going to.
Wait, can Michael hear us?
I
I
can.
don't know. Okay, so basically, what I got out of that was that you were forced and like you ended up hating it. But like for certain aspects, I think it's necessary and good. Like the language thing, like I definitely think parents should make sure their
Wait,
kids know.
What's going on?
He's just dropped the call. Shit, dude. Is he even?
Can
Can you hear us?
Is his Wi-Fi out?
Technical difficulties here.
Technical difficulties.
SPWTL.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, also,
Oh,
yeah. Okay,
I
he's
just
back.
heard Michael.
Yeah, my internet is being like shit.
Oh, okay. Wait, so basically what you were saying is that, you were forced to do a lot of things and you didn't like any of them, but then you kind of like started independently doing stuff, and those are the things that you like now. Is
Yeah,
that accurate?
Yeah, like basketball and drawing
okay.
and some of those other activities, but like coding was never forced on me or anything. But I think like it wasn't. I mean, like it might have been that I could have enjoyed piano potentially if I did it myself or whatever. But like
Yeah.
because I was forced to do it continually, like in Chinese, like it could have potentially been the same thing, but like basically because I was continually forced into doing it like over and over again, like it just like I like built up a distaste of like those activities.
Yeah. No, I think, okay, specifically about piano, I think I just want to say that the way that piano teachers go about teaching piano is literally like 300 years out of date. It doesn't make sense why you're teaching kids how to play Bach chorales as like the first thing, as like an introduction to like piano. Like you like first you learn the very basic songs, and then like the next thing you learn are like songs that are like literally 400 years old.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I would
Which
have
makes,
a lot
like-
more have had a lot more fun with it if like the songs that I was like learning were also
Yeah.
like stuff that I enjoyed, right? But like,
Exactly. It's so stupid. Like imagine you're playing Overwatch and Blizzard force you to counter strafe like 10,000 times before you're allowed to play a game. Like you probably quit. Like you
Yeah.
probably won't play it. This doesn't make any sense. Like the way they're trying to teach you is like way out of date. But then another thing is that like regarding the Asian parents thing, like yeah, I definitely think forcing a kid to just to like do something for like years is like probably not a good thing. But I think the reasoning behind it is that they don't want to allow you to just like quit a lot, because then you'll build up like a like a mentality that
mentality,
you'll
yeah.
quit like
Quitter's
easily.
mentality. Yeah.
So it's kind of like I get why they do that, but like it's not the solution.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like ultimately the
Building
issue
on
is,
that,
like,
I think some of it is necessary. I think some of it should be done. Like if you're Chinese, you should learn Chinese.
No, I think then they should like force you to speak at home. Like they shouldn't like force you to go to like Chinese school. Like especially
Well,
if you're
there's
not
only
gonna
so
like
much
it,
you
you're
can
not
do
gonna
at
learn it.
home. There's only so
like,
much
but-
you can do at home, and it would be
but, like,
effective.
my
Like you
point
talk to
is-
your other peers, and you be in a classroom, and you learn and you read whatever, and maybe sometimes might be out of the parents' like time to
Like I think just speaking at
do it.
home can at the very least guarantee that he'll be or the kid will be fluent in Chinese.
Well, you, I would
if
say
you're
that
just speaking.
I would say that's the baseline, right? Like,
Right, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But
And,
my
and
point
even
is,
then,
if you force
if it's
them,
only spoken,
and they don't like it,
it's
they're
never
almost-
written. Like it's only one component of the language.
but like if you're not living in China, why do you need to write Chinese?
I guess I'm part of the older clique that thinks that that those things should be held closer to the heart. Like I remember back
But
in the day,
my-
I was like,
my
"Ah,
point
shit,
is that
I
if you
hated
think, like,
learning
this
Vietnamese.
is
I
back-
didn't think that I didn't
is-
think that I needed to and whatever. But now I've really come to respect it, and part of me actually kind of
That's fine, but
probably
I think this comes back to the pragmatic versus the idealist talk we had the other day. Where like I think if the kid doesn't like it, you can force him to learn how to write, but he's not gonna actually learn it.
yeah, I'm not like I
it's not
I
gonna-
don't
it's
know
not
how
gonna
to
do
write
anything.
Chinese at all.
Like you're
Alright,
wasting
sorry.
his time. You're making him dislike the language, and then you're wasting the money to send him to school. It's just like overall, it's a very bad experience, and then it doesn't really accomplish anything in the end.
I'm gonna go get my food
you just
real
force them.
fast. Be right back, fam.
Well, I mean, like,
Sure,
I think
sure.
to a larger extent that this is just like it's like very hard to be able to like, like raising a kid is like fickle, right? Because like it's not easy, and like a lot of decisions that are made are like, from our perspective, like now that I'm like older, it's like okay, yeah, some of those like decisions are made from like a money perspective because like you sink a lot of money into buying a piano, so you have to like stick with it, right? But like some of those things are because like the parent wants the kid to like turn out a certain way, like they don't want them to give up, or they want them to like have
Right.
extracurricular activities, or they want them to have their best chance at going to like a good college or whatever. But like
Yeah.
a lot of times, like I feel like I don't know, like okay, from the Asian kid perspective at least, like it feels like it's difficult because like when your parent forces you to do too much shit, it just feels overbearing, right? But like then some people who like maybe they're really loose with their child, and then their child just turns out to be like a druggie or something, right? Like they aren't disciplined
Right, I
enough.
think-
So
No, I think that the approach for like most Asian parents is right. I think a lot of the fault doesn't actually fall onto them because they're not actually doing the teaching themselves. So if the kid loses interest, to be honest, it's not their fault. It's more of the fault of the teacher because we know all of these subjects that they're forcing. Because they're not. It's not like they're forcing you to do some like obscure stuff. It's piano or like chess or like math school or something, right?
yeah,
These are like stuff that, generally speaking, a lot of people enjoy doing, right? So like if the kid loses interest, a lot of times I think it's just the way about people like teach things because like I think a lot of times in academia the teachers kind of think that like their job is to introduce like the great works to like the kid when I think that's like 100% the wrong approach.
yeah. I mean, I think people would enjoy it more if they first like make sure they have fun, and then like
Right.
later on,
Yeah, exactly.
do the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good example, but honestly, the only other example that I can find is also a really bad example. Where, like in English class, like for example, in English class, even though in English class this example is a lot better. Like in English class, it's done a lot better than in music class. Like in English class, you have to read stuff, right? Like some classic book, right? And then you write about it. So at the very end, you're still creating your own like writing in the end. But music class is done so that you kind of just like learn. You only just like read the classics, and that's like about it. You're not taught to like how to like make your own stuff, and then you're kind of just like you're almost taught it like here's a bunch of stuff that you have to know, and here's why this music is good, whether you agree with it or not. It's good, and then this is just a fact, and then you have to believe that or you fail. That's kind of like what it is. Or like, okay, I'm gonna give you this piece that was written by like this famous dude a long time ago, and then you have to like memorize it, and that's
Yeah,
like it.
I mean, maybe that's why I was like more able to stick with like drawing, or
Right.
maybe it was like
yeah,
coincidence or
like
whatever,
imagine
but-
if they sent you the drawing class and then the drawing was just like, okay, just like I'll give you 100 of these and then you just like make something that looks exactly like this. You probably wouldn't enjoy it that much as
Yeah.
well.
Dude, I actually had a drawing
like,
class
so
that was
stupid.
like that, and I didn't. And
Yeah,
I
exactly,
never
right? Like you go to
really
drawing
wanted
class, it'll be like, oh, so today we're gonna teach you about this guy and why this guy's important, and then you're like, okay, and then like, okay, now we give you this, and then you have 2 hours to copy this. Basically, it's basically that, and then like that's like significantly less fun than like say you started and then you download this app and then you're like, okay, well I want to draw this anime figure, and then you just draw it, or like you want to draw like the sky and then you just draw it.
Yeah,
Like, that's
so,
like
I mean,
infinitely more interesting than like
it's way better to be able to come from like the place of interest and then start learning something, because
right.
like,
But it, yeah.
or
But
even
what
using
I'm saying is
that,
that I think
the
it's
starting point as a place of interest. But yeah,
But what I'm saying is that there's no reason why educators can't just do that. It's like they're kind of stuck in their ways that they have to teach like this, or else
That's
you're not
definitely
like
a very
learning or
Western
something.
way of thinking, though.
That's like it's such a bad way of like teaching. So I think a lot of that like default falls onto like the teachers.
that's actually a pretty interesting take. I mean, I
Yeah,
like now that you
that's
say it,
my
I like
take, at
totally
least.
agree with you. Like I feel like that's
Yeah.
very reasonable.
Because like
but-
the parents have like I think the parents are right that they should like try to get you to do things that are not just like academics or things that like are games and like sports and shit. Like they should try to broaden that, and then
they're putting in the effort. They're sending you to school. They probably have to drive you there. They have to pay the money to do that. And then the rest of the job is they're paying the teachers to get you to do this, but the teachers are failing to actually do it because they're teaching you like they're stuck in their like old ways, and then they're teaching outdated stuff that kids aren't interested in, and it's pretty bad. But that's definitely a big issue.
Director of education?
Or, no, I mean, I have no idea how to fix this.
What's
other
Betsy
than like
DeVos's position called? I don't even know.
I mean, a lot of the people who
like
do this are like, it's like freelance work or small companies. Like it's not, it's generally not like,
I mean, it's
part of the education
but that's like very very like irresponsible though. Like imagine if I like started teaching and then I didn't really care about my students at all. That's like it's very irresponsible.
But like my point is that like it's hard to change it from like a systematic level, right? Because like to be
I know it's hard to change.
Yeah.
But I just think this has to be like a top down thing. Like academia has to stop being so like, I don't know, like what's the best word for it? Like
rigid.
Stop being so rigid and like
stuck in the past.
Elitist. They have to stop being so elitist, because in the core it's like they believe that this type of music is the best and like is what people should be learning, and then so they push that down, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is that number one, kids don't care about Bach's chorale. If you care, it's probably because it's like a weird situation, or probably because you've done it so much that you can't like not like it at this point.
Yeah.
You know, like nobody gets into like this thing because of some like really old stuff. It's because you listen to something now, like you want to play the song that you heard that you like.
Yeah, like it would be way cooler like if you were learn to play the songs on the radio, right? Instead of
exactly. Like if you you like this song and be like, well, I want to learn how to piano because how to play piano because I like this song. Then you should be taught how to play that song, not some other song. So that a few years down the line, you can learn the thing that you wanted to learn in the first place. Anyways,
yeah. Off your soapbox.
Makes sense. Yeah. I mean,
I mean it's not hurtful.
The teacher brought me. Well, the teacher let me bring pieces of music that I want to learn, and sometimes it was like, well, it was way out of my like skill level. But hey, I brought it.
See, the thing is, I don't agree with that because that's what I was told when I started playing guitar. But then I just learned it anyways because I was like, I don't give a fuck what you think if I can't play it or not. I'm just like, even if I start playing shit, after a while, then you'll be able to play it. And that was a period where I like improved the most. Is I just try to tackle a song that's way out of my reach, and then you start off shit. You practice a song for 2 weeks and you're still shit, but you just keep on you just keep on practicing that, and then eventually you'll get there.
Well, yeah, I mean, like it's the same idea of like coding or like when. To get better, like if you want to start a project that's like way outside of your scope, but like you have a vision, you have something that you want to get to, like, or I mean, I guess this can be applied to like basically anything, right? But like any kind of skill you want to learn, if you do basically like trial by fire, where you have to like learn the stuff, or like the other option is that you just can't do it. But like if you have like a vision towards what you want to accomplish in the end, then you're just going to learn. Like that's like the bottom line, right? Because you want to get to that point, so. You'll do anything in your power to try to get to that point.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Anyway, back to the topic.
That requires a lot of drive, though. I think. Like.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like
that requires a lot of drive.
The point is,
no, I actually don't think so. I think it requires less drive actually, because imagine like instead of saying like, okay, you can just try doing this. Or the other options, like practice what I give you for the next 3 years, and then you can tackle this song. I think it's much easier to like have your mind be like, well, I'm just gonna do the thing that I want to do, than to be like, okay, fine, I'll do something else that I don't want to do for the next 3 years, and then I'll come back to do the thing that I want to do. I think it's it requires less drive to actually.
The entire point.
It might be harder, but yeah. Sorry.
Well, I mean, the entire point is that the original like. The drive is that you have something that you really want to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm not entirely certain kids would think that way though. Like
no, it's just like for example,
my younger
like if
brother's
they want to
not very
learn
motivated to do anything.
No, like for
You
example,
know what I
if the
mean?
kid like wants to start drawing because he wants to like create his own manga, then just instead of like teaching him other stuff, just like straight up be like, okay, well here's a paper and a pencil, and then just start drawing like this thing that you want to draw. Like it's gonna start out shit, but then you refine it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and then like in that sense, like then the teacher instead of the teacher telling you, okay, like let's start by drawing an apple and then like let's try to learn about perspective or whatever. I personally think that it's easier to just like have them be like, okay, here is like what like a manga panel should look like or whatever, and then try your drawing of it, and then I'll let you know like, okay, what parts don't look well and where
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
improve, right? Like that kind of
Yeah.
idea is like I feel like much better. I mean, like
Yeah.
so now that we're older, like I basically did that kind of idea where like I didn't learn to draw. Like I mean,
Yeah,
like I'm still
exactly.
not that good, right? But like I didn't learn my drawing by like doing a bunch of practice and like doing like, oh, how do I do perspective and like how do I do like anatomy and stuff like that. I just like, okay, I'm gonna
Right,
try
exactly.
doing
It
it as
does.
many times
It
as I
makes no
can, and
sense.
then like do what I want to do, and then like
Right.
eventually
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll start
Exactly.
getting better at it. Like
Yeah, like imagine like your goal is to draw like mangas which are in black and white, and then you have to sit through a class in color theory first. That makes like no sense.
yeah, or like your goal is to like draw 2D cartoon characters, and then they're teaching you how to draw like whatever like 3D perspective, right? Like it's
Yeah. Like
that kind of
probably like
idea.
from like a like it makes sense in the long run, but in the short run your goal is to get the kid like interested in something, and then try to get them to continue doing that. That's like the goal essentially. It's
Yeah.
not to like trying to create the next like genius artist. That's not like the goal. It shouldn't be at least. Anyways, back to extracurriculars were you asked to do as a kid. For me, actually my parents didn't force me that much. They forced me a bit, but then if I really didn't want to do it, they like stopped forcing me to do it. Like, let's see. I had like a drawing class a long time ago. I had this chess class for a little bit.
I did a bit of chess as a kid as well.
What else did I have? I don't remember. That's basically it. I mean, okay, well, that's basically it for like non-academic stuff. But I had Chinese class. I had math class. I had like English teachers for a pretty long time as well. That's like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
basically
I
it.
had math class as
Yeah.
well, but it was like not really forced on me or anything. It was just like whatever.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I talked about that
Other
before.
extracurriculars. I did kung fu when I was younger,
Oh, I did
I like
taekwondo
that.
for a bit, but I was like
but
not.
I kind of
interested.
after I left the U.S., I basically kind of stopped doing that. It was because it wasn't really available to me. But then now in college, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I like this, and I'm doing that again.
What?
think it's-
Taekwondo or Kung Fu?
Well,
Right.
just martial arts in general, but yeah, I guess
Oh,
for me
okay.
right now it's taekwondo and kendo. I mean, I'm gonna learn other
see.
stuff too.
I feel like in college,
Given
like
the
I've
opportunity.
gone back and like revisited some of those old things that like I like wish I had like kept doing like as a kid or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, the only one. Actually, this is funny. Yeah. Sorry.
no, I mean just go.
continue. I was gonna say the only ones I wish I kept going were like the music ones. So they didn't really force me, but I learned violin in middle school because basically my school forced me. It was like either learn one of the string instruments or you have to learn like a concert band one, or you could do drama. But I thought that was like not fun. Anyways, I learned violin for a while, and I really wish I still knew how to play now because that'll be really useful for my own stuff now.
Yeah.
But yeah. Actually, playing violin, like being really bad at violin, made guitar really easy to pick up. So that's another thing.
Interesting.
No, actually, because like the core technique of pushing down a string is like the same, or it's like similar between a violin and guitar. So like that's like one of the challenges for people trying to learn guitars from scratch. Scratch is like holding down the string so then you can like pluck it and make like sound. But then I had like an easy way to get past that because I've been playing violin really badly in school. I was like the last chair always.
Yeah,
So-
but I mean, like ultimately, like for me, it's just like there's nothing I can do to change the past, and like who we are now is like a culmination of like the things that happened.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
like,
but the thing is, you can kind of like correct some of the things that you think you missed. Like, if you think that you wish you could speak Chinese, you can definitely still learn it now.
yeah, but I mean,
And then if you
it's
know
too,
if it's like piano, if it's drawing, then you know you can still pick those.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can
Well,
definitely still do those things now. It's definitely easier to do it now as well.
yeah. Well, okay, actually,
So-
it's kind of interesting because there's the common saying or belief, at least, that like it's easier to learn stuff as a kid. I don't know where that came from. I feel like that's just not really true for me. But
I think it's more about the motivation to learn things when you're a kid. Like when you're a kid,
I think
you don't want to do things. It's like
Really, I feel more motivated now.
Yeah, same.
I think it's easier. It's probably easier to pick up habits and stuff like that when you were a kid. But I don't
heard
think the
basically- No,
difference
that's
between
exactly what I'm
when you're-
saying.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So my point is, but I think the difference between a kid and then like a young adult, or even just like a regular adult, it's like it's not enough to really change anything, in my opinion.
I personally think like okay, so I was watching a video about this, but like basically that the difference between like the only difference between like a kid like learning to do stuff as a kid or learning to do stuff now is that or the biggest difference rather is that as a kid you have a lot more time to do like nothing. Because
Oh, that's true too. But I spent all of my time playing stupid games, so
yeah, but
so it didn't really change it.
I personally think it's like way easier for me to learn these other things because like I'm like it's easier for me to be like introspective about like okay, this is like where I need to improve, or like I can take from examples and I can use online
Oh
resources.
yeah.
Stuff. So,
Like yeah, you're definitely better at learning
Yeah.
when you're an adult. Yeah, you're better at it, but yeah, that's for sure. That's 100% for sure.
You can like analyze your own shit, right? You can like record it and be like, be actually smart about it. So
yeah, like I mean like
Yeah.
to get better at Japanese or to get better at like drawing or whatever, like I can just like look at where I'm making mistakes and be like, okay, I just don't make that mistake next time, right? But like as a kid, you just don't know that
Yeah.
because it's harder to recognize. You're just not as smart in general or knowledgeable. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let's move on to I guess probably the last topic of this
boy.
week,
What
which will
causes
be
you stress?
what causes you
folks?
stress.
Who wants
Responsibilities.
to start with that? Oh boy. Who wants to start?
The immediate answer that comes to my mind is responsibility.
So do you want to like elaborate, like give an example?
Yeah. I'm thinking of. So I mean, I guess obviously academic responsibility, right? Like you want to complete your assignments on time and whatever, and get good grades. If you're like in a leadership position for clubs and stuff, you know, want to be honor your responsibility to your group mates and to the project at hand or activity at hand. And then, like, I don't know about you guys, but like familial responsibilities and like kind of those kind of cultural responsibilities. And then also like for me, like projects and stuff, like I don't want to embark on a project half-heartedly. Like I want to be able to know that I can commit something to it, because I feel like if I kind of just spout ideas and never really like kind of give that idea its time of day or like its proper kind of focus and attention, then I'm kind of letting down the idea almost in a sense, like in a strange kind of way. And so recently I've been trying to like kind of streamline my list of priorities and activities and just try to like make sure that I'm directing my energies in the right place. But and living up to that and living up to a personal ideal of what I would like to be and what I would hope to become is something that causes me a great deal of stress.
Well, okay, so let me rephrase this question or give an add-on, I guess, to the question is on top of like what causes you stress, like what do you do to like prevent or like alleviate that stress, right? Because like stress is not necessarily like a bad thing in itself, but like the issue is that if you become too stressed, then it starts to affect your like productivity, right? And so I mean, like Skylar, I guess, continue. But like, what on top of like what causes you the stress, like, what do you do to like prevent or alleviate it?
I feel like for legal reasons, I have to state that I am 21, so I drink.
What the fuck? Wait, really? I'm surprised. I didn't know you drank like much.
I mean, not a lot, but like, it definitely helps relax me a little bit. Not a little bit, like a lot. But I try to do exercise, like focus and stuff. Like kendo is really great for focus. Really, really, really great for focus. Actually, I don't know why. I don't want to sell that short. I play games, but I feel like that's more running than like addressing the stress. I feel like my stress naturally decreases if I feel like I'm making steps towards whatever goal. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I keep a physical planner, right? Like, which is sort of outdated, right? Because you could do the same thing online and digitally and everything. I like the tactile feeling of writing down my tasks and then crossing them out when they're done. Like, it feels good.
I think
you know,
a lot
it's
of people like
done.
that. That's not
like that.
feeling. Just
I mean, well, I'm not saying it's a unique thing. I'm just saying that's what I do.
I wouldn't say it's outdated, but anyway, continue.
If I had the means, like if I had access to a bath, I would take baths, I think. But I don't have access to a bath, so this poor man can only take showers.
Do you like feel that you're like on a regular basis that you are like a stressed? Are there times where you feel like you're actually stressed, like that you can physically feel that you're starting to get tired, or that you are mentally not in the right place, and like that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Like, it's usually in the back of my head.
How frequent of an occurrence is it? Like, I'm just
and
curious.
like my shoulders. Frequent occurrence. I think it's always like slightly there. It just kind of raises or lowers in intensity. Yeah.
Okay, Tiger, do you want to go then, or is there anything you
I
want
need to get myself a nice girlfriend that'll give me massages.
I
Release some
mean,
stress.
there's not much I like to comment on Skylar's situation. I mean, yeah, sounds about right. For me, I think the only thing or the main thing that caused me stress is like the passage of. I don't want to like. It's not supposed to sound deep, but like it's like I don't know, like passage of time. I guess it's like the only thing. And the only way I can alleviate that is to use like the time, like productively, which a lot of times I don't. Which is why I have to stress in the first place.
Yeah,
but I think that's like
so
the only
fucking
one.
deep. What the hell?
It's not supposed to be. It's just like I
An
feel stressed
Ouroboros
out
dragon
if
of
I like
stress.
if I like have a day where like I don't do anything like productive. Like yesterday, I did
Interesting.
not do anything productive.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyways, that's like the only main thing. I don't have that many family responsibilities, so I don't feel stressed from that.
Like, do you get like a feeling of like, okay, when you wake up, like you just feel tired and shit, and like mentally you just like feel like your mind is like sluggish or anything when you're like really stressed out, or is that just like not something that you
Maybe, but usually not. It's usually more like, oh shit, I have to do a bunch of stuff.
Okay, interesting. So I mean,
I don't know.
I feel like that then you're probably not as stressed out as like Skylar, I feel like.
Probably not.
I don't know, man.
I think that a good part of that is due to like because recently I have been productive, especially some of the new things that I'm trying to do, and then has been working out, or like not okay. I'm working out, but like for example, I would like try to do stuff that I need to do every day, and I'll do those, and then I'll have like stuff that I need to get done for like my projects, and then I'll have like a date. It's almost like if it's almost like there was an assignment due, and then like you have to do it within that time. And then recently I've been pretty good with it. So I mean, recently I'm feeling pretty good, but yesterday was definitely a pretty bad day, since I really didn't get anything done
Interesting.
or get much done.
That's me every day, baby.
Get much done.
Okay, so I mean,
Well, I would just like if you think that you're not getting enough done, then just like you should try out the calendar thing. You know, just like have it. You know, write out for the to like the end of the year to like write out what you have to get done by what day, and then just like make sure you do that.
Deadlines
Anyways.
give me stress.
Yeah, but like it gives you stress to do it, but once you do it, you feel much better than you haven't. Do you know what?
I almost like when I start working, I almost have to like warm up with like lower.
That's fine.
Intensity
it's just like treat
tasks.
it like you have an essay due. Like treat it like there's a grade that you have to get it done, and then like there's stress when you have the deadline. But my point is that once you finish it and you actually get it in, you'll feel better than if you haven't given you a deadline and then you haven't done it. That's my point, I guess. Anyways, sorry.
Okay. So I'll go about my stuff. So to be honest, I generally don't feel stressed out very much. Like the only times that I've like
always
really
assured
been
in your own
super
abilities.
stressed out is like when there's like a lot of assignments due like academically, and there's like a lot of deadlines that I feel like that I personally feel like have a large impact. Whether or not they actually do have a large impact is a different question. But like if my inner feeling is that they have a lot of impact, then I start to feel stressed, and like oftentimes it'll have to be that on top of the fact that like some of the other things in my life are not going my way, like if you know, I'm not having fun in Pokemon at the moment, or if I'm not like, you know, other stuff is also not going my way, then I start feeling stressed. But generally, like I don't really get stressed out very much, because I feel like I'm like generally pretty good about managing. If I feel like I'm like really tired or whatever that day, then I'll probably just like take a break and be like, okay, let's just, you know, watch some anime, watch some YouTube and whatnot. But there's definitely been a few days where it's like, okay, there's a time crunch and I don't really have time to do anything except for just work that day. So then I don't have time to like go, you know, take a break to watch some stuff or whatever, or like play a few games or whatever. So then I get really stressed out, and then I get like really fucking tired and the next day and stuff and that kind of stuff.
Damn. All right. Yeah. Well, why is Skylar so stressed out compared to us?
I think it's the way I'm constituted, man. I like.
Is it stuff that like you can't help, or stuff that you can help that makes you more stressed?
I mean, maybe it's a good thing, like, too, because like I feel like stress
can
to a certain
like,
degree it can be useful to like pressure yourself into doing stuff.
I can,
right, but I think in Skylar's situation, it hasn't been very effective. In that sense.
Who knows? Maybe,
I mean, it's not to slate him. I'm just saying, like that's what you're saying, right?
I haven't been I haven't been on like a fully stress-free state in a very, very long time. So
a fully what?
A fully stress-free state in a very long time.
Oh,
what do you mean by that?
Just like a proper vacation. I mean, like where I can just relax. And part of it is like I'm very connected to spaces, and so like just why, like, I mean, you guys know this, right? Like I'm very particular about my workspace and the space that I inhabit in my room and my setup and all that type of thing. And when I go wherever I go for holidays, usually I'm away from all that stuff, and I'm always kind of slightly uncomfortable because it's usually somewhere new.
Well, I mean, also because like,
didn't
you say just like 10 minutes ago that you feel like if you whenever you have a vacation where you're not getting shit done, it just starts to like stress you out. You feel weird.
Yeah, also because
it
feels because it's like it's a vacation within like a larger macro timeline, right? Like let's say like summer of my freshman year, instead of like it's summer, so I don't have like day-to-day responsibilities, but it's lodged within this larger timeline of like, okay, what should I be doing my freshman to summer year if I can't get an internship or whatever, blah 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 blah, right?
So what you're saying is you probably need maybe what you need is like after you graduate college or whatever, if you're going to graduate school, after you graduate school, basically then take a couple months off, like have a job lined up for like September, and then like tell the company like, let me start in September, and take 2 months off.
Yeah, something like that, or like
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Sounds like
I
a
don't
good
know,
plan.
like
I mean, like I got that advice.
It'd be nice if I could like take a trip with my girlfriend or something.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
one at that point.
Okay, you gotta go for this.
But yeah, like I got the advice from like a CS professor. Basically, he was saying.
Wait, actually, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so he was saying basically that, like when you're in school, you're going to be working all the time. Like you'll have internships, but you'll have like responsibilities during the summer too. And then once you get into the workforce, you're going to be working all the time. So like the time that you have between when you're like off school and when you like first start, like you start your first job, you should take that time, like a couple months, to just like for yourself, because you probably won't ever have that time, like not ever, but like you won't really get those opportunities very much in life, basically.
I feel like you're underestimating the amount of time you would have as a working adult. It's like, let's say you're working 9 to 5, like that's probably less
it's completely
time
different
worked than
from
as a student.
like,
yeah,
it's completely different from like, okay, you're working a 9 to 5 job and you know you're going to work every day and you have some time in the afternoon after you get back from work from, okay, take like a month or 2 off where you can go like on vacation, right? Like there's things that you can't do while you're in the work, like while you're working, because like you can't, like, for example, go on a trip, which is like something that you probably won't have very much time for, like after
paid leave. I
you
don't
get
know.
into the workforce.
Well, hopefully, I'd find a job with some nice benefits and time off and stuff.
Well, if you're gonna be a systems engineer, then you're not gonna get that job.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, Skylar.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure something like that exists, or maybe like
Yeah,
I could
but I
work
mean,
in a
like
reduced
generally-
Not if
limited
you're like
capacity type thing.
at the beginning, you also want to work harder because you don't have very much like money and stuff, so you want to be, you know, in tune with everything. You don't really have as much time to like take off as well, so at the beginning it's going to be harder. So I would say that after you finish college or, you know, graduate school or whatever you're planning.
I mean, obviously not like months and months. I don't intend to, you know, why would you have a job if you want to take months and months off? I'm talking like a week, 2 weeks tops type thing.
Yeah, but like, I mean, from
That's enough for a trip. That's enough for a trip.
from my like
pop over to Japan real
or, like,
fast.
when I talk to like people who work in the industry, you know, people that I've worked with before, people that I've my friends who are like older than me, like they basically tell me that you don't really get like you get maybe like a couple days paid vacation, but like you don't really get those like days, because like they're generally not going to like the pressure is that you generally won't use those days, or even if you do, then you're still going to be like working in a sense, because like there's shit that needs to get done, and especially like at the beginning you don't really have those opportunities, so it's pretty hard. But
Yeah. Yeah. There's not much for me to say regarding that.
We're at the 1:30 mark. Do you want to think about wrapping it up?
yeah, is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we stop for today?
It's a short episode compared to last week and the week before that.
To be fair,
not the
this
week before
was
that,
our
the
original
last few
goal,
episodes.
but I think we've never stayed below an hour 30. So
We could start a new top, like, more if you
Yeah,
want.
we can
it,
do
right?
a new topic if you guys want.
no, I
I'm
mean
down.
I think it's
I don't know
a
if you
pretty
guys-
good point to stop.
This is a good length, though. I think.
All right. Okay. I think yeah.
Yeah, is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap up? I think we had a good discussion.
This one's gonna be good. Media you're not ready for. I have some thoughts on that, but stay tuned. I guess we should probably make a little note that this is our double-digit episode. This is episode 10.
Yes.
Here's
Thank you
too many
for
more
the 5
episodes.
people who actually no. If anybody is watching
0
at this
people.
point,
We
you know,
get
big
views. I don't
fucking-
know what you're talking
yeah, but
about.
we don't get watch time.
We literally
so
get views.
The chance that somebody is listening to what we're saying right now is so fucking low. But if you are, you know, good on you. Good shit. Leave a comment, because we sure as hell. Okay, leave a comment just to prove me wrong. that there is nobody listening
Wow.
to this. But yeah, all right.
Wow.
There's nobody
Okay.
listening. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Remember to use code NordVPN/shit.
No, don't.